All right. Welcome to the Levi Blue Show. I'm your host, Levi Blue. We have our co-host, Steven J. Dallas. Steven, say hello to the people.
Hello to the people.
So, Steven, have you had a good day so far?
So far, it has been amazing.
Yeah? How amazing has it been?
I've gotten to spend time with you doing something that's going to matter.
I think it's a mic drop. We'll see y'all later. Have a good... No, I'm just kidding.
Out of here.
So today we're going to talk about... this is our second episode. I'm pretty excited about this. And so this is going to be overcoming daily struggles. Oh, I lost my... Oh, there we are. Oh, we're back. We were on the computer. All right. So, it's okay. The cool thing is this doesn't have to be too formal. It's just we're fun. We're having fun. It's in training and all that good stuff. So the question is... how do you overcome daily struggles, Stephen? Like, what does that look like when you wake up in the morning and struggle? You step in some gum. You're like, Lord, why did I step in this gum this morning? Or what does that look like? How do you overcome daily struggles? What does that look like for you?
Well, first of all, when I step in gum, I think, man, I got to pick that up. Can't leave it for the next guy.
Right.
How do I overcome things? Wow, I just went blank. The way I overcome things is I just get in action. I just do it. I move right through the day. I start doing what I got to do, and eventually whatever it is that I was afraid of comes towards me and passes by me.
Yeah. I would say, if you don't mind me sharing, so you did some prison time, and so, and I've done, with my martial arts background, that taught us structure. That actually helped me overcome some of my struggles because I had discipline, I had boundaries. And I think that's what I'm hearing when you say that is I take action. So instead of just murmuring and complaining, I'm just going to do what I need to do and just do it. Put my shoes on and just do it. You know what I'm saying? Like Nike says, just do it. So
I was going to the commercial. I saw it too. Yeah.
But overcoming daily struggles, we all have struggles. We're going to have struggles to the day we die. But the way I think way we overcome those is by putting into practice with the Word of God, obviously, in prayer. But we have to have a scheduled time where we spend time with God, but we stay to our boundaries. With martial arts, it taught me to control my emotions and not allow people to upset me when they just, say something stupid or off the handle. Does that make sense? You know what I mean?
That makes absolute sense, yes.
Yeah. So I'm just going to give you a rundown of some things that I do that I think it's important to how we overcome our daily struggles. Number one, obviously, we're going to be spending time with God and we're going to be praying. Number two, we're going to read some devotionals because a lot of times we have the Word of God, which is what we need. But I think sometimes it's good to also have another perspective with like devotions because they kind of give you. I like stories. I'm a story person. So if someone can give me an illustration but also use the Word of God, it's like, okay, that makes sense. Does that make sense itself? And yes. So, but my third thing is I think that in order to overcome life struggles, we need to have a good, solid team around us, good people that are going to lift us up. Because if I have this old saying, if you're the smartest one in the circle, then you need to find a new circle.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So, can you elaborate on that? What does that look like for you to have a solid team around you?
Well, I wouldn't have survived if I didn't have a solid team. As you pointed out, I was in prison.
Yeah.
And before that, I was in the military. And you have camaraderie. You have people who will nudge you, push you, and even take you to the edge to make you grow.
Yeah.
To make you forget who you think you are and put you in perspective of where you are and how you're going to get through it. Because you will not get through anything by yourself in this world. And as you said, you have a hierarchy. You have your God. You have a team of people around you. Since I've been out of prison, I've had a team of people, and I was given the very best that God could give me. I've got 7 mentors.
7? My goodness, that's good.
That's far better than the business book. It said only have 5.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you got to have 5 people in business too. Yeah.
Well, that's true. That's true. We just look at life. We need to have good people around us, and I think it's not just all men. We need to have some spiritual women in our life to help lift us up. Because I used to always say this saying: if people are lifted, are people lifting you to hell, or pulling you to hell, or lifting you to heaven? You know, which because there's only two directions.
Right.
You know, and we got to have good, solid people to lift us up. And so I remember here, I used to share that a lot with the boys in the juvenile center about, you know, having a good team, because without a good team, you're gonna fall flat on your face. You know, especially when you're in the entertainment business.
Yeah.
You know, with money and just with all the people, all the camaraderie that comes with all that. So you got to have a smart circle, because without a smart circle, what do you really got?
What have you got?
You know, because again, I mean, I want to really address that for a second. If you're the smartest one in the circle, because what are they really? If you're the smart one, everyone else around you is just dumb, so to speak. Really, what you're doing, or what they're doing, is they're pulling you down. Because if you look at physics, it's easy for if you were in a ditch, it would be easier for you to pull me in the ditch than me to pull you out.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, but if there's two of me pulling you out, it's a lot easier. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So we need people that's going to lift us up. So, yeah. So I have a scripture I want to read here. It's in James chapter 1, verse 2 through 4. It says, "Dear brothers and sisters, when troubles of any kind come your way, consider it an opportunity for great joy. For you know that when your faith is tested, your endurance has a chance to grow." Verse 4, "So let it grow. For when your endurance is fully developed, you will be perfect, complete, and needing nothing." So you think James was happy when he wrote that?
I think James had just gone through something and was writing down his version of a cure.
There you go.
A prescription.
There's a couple of words here that I want to look at here.
All right.
It says, when troubles of any kind, so that means anything can happen to us in life, come your way, consider it an opportunity of great joy. I don't know about you. Have you ever been just joyful when you get in a car accident, or joyful when you're in someone's in the hospital? Obviously not. But at the same time, you know, James tells us it is an opportunity to be joyful, you know, because what does our pastor always say? Praise the Lord. And people would say, what? Yep. And what he's really saying is, I'm bringing God into the situation. You know what I mean? So, and that's what we're doing. So let's keep looking at that. For you know that your faith is tested. You know, I want to stop there for a second. When people always say, don't pray for patience. Okay. Don't pray for love. Don't pray for joy. Don't pray for goodness. Because if you say, God, teach me how to love like you, what is God going to do? He's going to put you in a situation to where you got to do what? You got to love like God. He's going to bring some difficult people to pray for, or to be interact with. You know what I mean? So I think about that when I see that verse. It says our faith is tested, and obviously it is when we go through trials and tribulations. You're like, God, what is this? What is this really teaching me? You know what I mean?
Can I say something?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, well, I don't know how far I go as a co-host.
Yeah. You just cut me off when you feel like you got something to say.
I've always struggled with that.
Yeah?
The faith is tested, because it also says in the Bible that don't say God is testing you.
Yeah, well, the tempting would be I think the correct word, to be tempted, you know, because God doesn't tempt with evil. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, and we could look at that another time, but yeah, let's keep going with your endurance has a chance to grow. Let's look at that word grow. I think a lot of people want to grow, but they don't know how to grow. And so when they're being tested, guess what they do? They give up. Yeah, they just give up. Like we talked about before, they just stop.
Yeah.
Or they keep their cards that they were dealt with, and they just, whatever.
Yeah.
It's okay. I'll just sit here with my pity party and not grow. But your endurance, what is endurance?
What is endurance?
Yeah, what is endurance? I mean, think about that for a second. What is endurance?
Oh, okay. Well, I don't have to think about it. I know what endurance is.
Well, share with us what endurance is.
The ability to go forth,
there
to
you
keep
go.
going, to persevere.
That's good.
To be strong.
Absolutely.
Yeah, to be the person that God has called you to be.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, think about, I'm real big into martial arts, so think about when people fight in the ring.
Oh, my, there you go.
Imagine, if your endurance is not good, you cannot finish the fight.
Yeah.
You will lose. You will either get tapped out, you get knocked out, or you won't come out in the corner. I've seen a lot of fights where they won't come out of the corner because they're exhausted.
Yeah.
of all the things they were going through. So let's keep reading.
Well, wait a minute.
Oh,
there.
okay.
No, you brought up fights. Okay. I grew up at a time when Muhammad Ali was big.
Yeah.
And I don't know if people remember him or not, but let's throw this out there where it is. A 3-round fight. Okay? Now, they did 12 rounds, 13 rounds.
That's a long time.
But a 3-round fight, he said you have to practice for 6 rounds. That's your endurance. Because about the time you're hitting the mid-stroke in the 3rd round,
Yeah.
the other guy didn't train for it, so you take him down right there. You still have the energy for 3 more rounds. You have endurance.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well, let me add to that. Another boxer that I like, Mr. Mike Tyson, said one time that they'd ask him, "Well, why do you get up at 4:00 in the morning?" He said, "Because no one else is doing it." He said you do he said the things you hate, you said you do them like you love them.
Yeah.
And so he said, I didn't want to get up at 4:00 in the morning to go run. He said, but if I didn't run, he said, I knew my opponent wasn't doing that, so I'm going to go do that.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So now I don't know if he trained for 6 rounds. I think he was knocking people out in the first 6 seconds.
He knew how to get him out.
And that's it. Yeah. Because I think it was that 4:00 morning training that he was doing.
Yeah.
It's just doing things that you don't really want to do, but you have to do.
Yeah.
And that's a topic itself we need to talk about sometime.
We talked about that in break, didn't we?
Yeah. So let's keep reading this here. I'm going to look at verse 4. It says, let it grow. I think, your endurance has a chance to grow. And then he tells us in verse 4, so let it grow. It's like he's telling us, hey, you need to let it grow. Because if you're not going to grow, then what exactly are you doing? For your endurance is fully developed. You will be perfect and complete, needing nothing. Now, I will say I struggle with verse 4 because we won't really be full and complete until we get to heaven. Does that make sense? I mean, that's what I think. What do you think?
The Bible actually says, now you're going to bring up heaven. So the Bible actually says, be you perfect as I am perfect. That was Paul, and he was perfect in Christ.
Okay, yeah.
When you reach that, everybody talks about their second wind, but when you reach your 3rd and 4th wind in endurance, and you're just moving with the flow now, you're just moving in it, you're just rocking solid. There's no you, there's nothing. In a Bible verse, it says, me and my Father are one. Now you're moving with life. Yeah. You got it. You know from experience in martial arts that when you're in it, they call it the zone. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
You're in the zone. You're made perfect right there. That's where you're made perfect. God and you are one. You're moving.
Yeah.
Good, win, fail, ugly, it doesn't matter. You're moving, That's what I think it's talking about. We're made perfect. We have done all that we could do as ourselves, and we felt the Holy Spirit hit us and move. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely makes sense.
Okay.
You put it in a perspective that I didn't even think about. Because we, like I said, we tend to think heaven. Yeah. Well, I won't be perfect. I won't be sinless until I get to heaven. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about just the endurance of getting through our troubles and trials. I asked someone the other day about when we go through trials and tribulations, when we go through things, people tend to handle them a little differently.
Yeah.
So if you would handle things a little bit different, like, maybe I think a lot of ways we'd handle altercations probably the same because of my background. But I know with your age, you have that grandpa state of mind.
Oh,
it's like, no, what I'm saying is, no, what I'm saying is, I've seen you in action of, when a young man was upset, get in the truck, let's leave. And what did he do? He got in the truck. If I would have said get in the truck, he'd say, I'm not getting in the truck with you.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So my point is you handled it differently than probably what I would have done.
Right.
But my question to this person was, when we go through things, does it come just with age, or does it come with also experience of how we handle things? And I think the answer is both.
Yes, absolutely. I concur.
Yeah.
I like that. Concur.
Concur. Yeah. That's because I often wonder, God, why am I going through this particular thing? I didn't ask for this, but I'm sure the Apostle Paul could say the same thing. Do you think he really wanted to get shipwrecked and bit by a snake all in the same, going to the same place? You know what I mean? So I don't think he asked for that either, but,
But he counted it all joy. He counted it all good. He saw the benefit.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's that word we talked about. Like you just said, it was. I just took it off the screen, but count it all joy.
Yeah.
You know, because what is it really teaching me here? What am I learning from this situation? You know, because I had someone tell me years ago, when we're going through things, we're going to use it later in life.
Right.
Meaning, not the same way, but I'm going to be teaching someone else down. Hey, I've been where you've been.
Right.
Don't try that.
Right.
You know. Unfortunately, though, we have knuckleheads when it comes to teenagers and young adults. And I mean, I'm still young. I'm 30. I'll be 36. But you know, at the same time, though, you know, we have knuckleheads who. Let me ask you this, Stephen. If we were going to go swimming, and I went ahead of you, and we went to the lake, but the lake was flooded, and there was a cliff. If we would have went off the cliff, we would have died, and it was just really bad. It was just a bad area. You'd believe me, right?
I'd be leaving you.
You would believe me that it's flooded or we can't go, right? Let's say.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
But sometimes when we tell people before us, hey, don't do that. What do they typically do?
They go do it.
They do the opposite. So why do you think that people do that? Because some people will listen. Some people are like, you know, I think you're right. I'm gonna not do that. Why do you think people tend to not listen?
Arrogance.
Or pride?
Pride and arrogance
Yeah.
are tied together. Yes.
I had someone one time say, well, because I would say that's your second chance. You may not get another opportunity. And they'd say, well, it's my life. I can do what I want. You are right. It is your life. You can do what you want. Exactly. So, you know, when you end up in the hospital or you end up in XYZ, you can say, well, it's your life. You're the one that's got to sit in the stew and stir it now. So, whatever. So,
yeah. Yes. And I've had lots of words, but we was talking about going through things, endurance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bring that back up.
But as you get into a situation and you watch it and you watch your reaction, how you did it, how you worked through it, or didn't work through it, but you see your failings, not other people's. You see where you didn't win with that part of the problem. Mm-hmm. So you learn the next time you go through it not to touch that part, but come over here and adjust to this part. And you learn from experience that I'm going to finish the race because I know going around the corner, I don't have to lean on my right foot. I lean into my left.
That's good. Well, what's that word you just used, though? Learn.
Learn.
Because we live in a culture of people where everything if we lose, they feel like it's the end of the world. Like,
yeah.
But because we live in a culture of win, 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 win. All we do is win.
Yeah.
But instead of saying, oh, no, that's not a loss, that's a lesson.
It's a lesson.
It's a lesson.
Yeah.
You know, again, keep going with that because I think you were headed to a good direction with that.
Well, my direction was simply this, that next time we arise at the problem or we see somebody else going through that problem, we want to give advice to change them, to keep them from going through the very thing that we had to go through to make us who we are right now. The very thing God put them into, we're praying that they don't have to go through it. And at times we have to remember it says, thy will be done. Because we don't know what God's actually molding them into being. And if they don't learn that lesson, we're prolonging the experience by our prayers to stop it. I'll give you an example.
No.
I just had this word with a very good friend of mine, God bless her, this morning. Her family's going through things. They're on the street. My son has been on the street. I wanted to jump in there and save them, help them, get them this, do them that, doing this. But I had to withdraw because I know from being on the street myself that you have to go through that to get to the other side. And I wanted to pray them out of it. And this morning it dawned on me what Pastor Dixie tells us. I have the ability to pray to the demons myself. I don't need somebody praying, comfort them, give them joy, help them, keep them warm. No, demons, get off them, get out of them. I'm sorry, I'm preaching now.
No, that's good.
But demons, I have the ability to cast off a demon. I have Jesus Christ in me so much that sometimes I'm just a mess. because I don't know what I'm doing or why. But I know that if I'm going to use prayer, I have to use it correctly.
That's good.
I don't need to make their life easier. I need to get the demons off them.
To go, you talked about. I was first. I was asking you, have you been talking to God? Because what you just said about hindering. Think about being a parent.
Oh,
When we, and that's where I'm at now with my son. My son's 14. He's experiencing certain things. He's wanting to explore to a large degree. It's like he wants to he's starting to do things. We've had to kind of reel him back in a little bit, explain to him why we don't do certain things, because what are those things that the things of the world tend to kind of shape who we are, what we listen to, what we watch. Once you see it, you can't unsee it.
right.
You know what I mean? And so I have this saying I heard from a movie one time. It says, you dance with the devil don't change, the devil changes you.
That's right.
And so, but at the same time, what you were just saying, what I was hearing was a lot of times with our children, we're praying for them. We want to guide them to the best of our abilities, like bumpers do on the bowling. But at the same time, we kind of got to let them do their thing, because they have to learn. Because if they don't fall, and if we become the parachute every time, then they're just gonna, when they finally do fall, it's gonna fall hard.
Right.
Than what they were intended to fall in the begin with. Does that make sense?
It does.
And so that's what I'm hearing from you. It's like, man, you've been talking to God. You know what I mean? Because that's what I'm hearing. It's being a parent's hard.
Being a parent's very hard, but while you was talking, it dawned on me there's something a parent should do.
Yeah. What's that?
Ask them questions about their experience that they're going through. How does that make you feel? How did that make you feel? Do you like feeling that way? You don't have to give them all that helpful advice, do this, don't do that. How did that make you feel making that choice? How did that make you feel when you fell and skinned your knee?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let their own wisdom kick in. Let their own knowledge kick in. Help them get that understanding. I learned all this from watching Pastor David Harrelson. He works marvelous with the kids, but I don't think he overloads them with a lot of advice. I think he gives them parenting love and understanding with what he's walked through.
Well, I think it's, instead of giving them a bunch, like you said, advice, it becomes more of a listening.
Yes.
I think the word silent is the same word as listen. A lot of times, when we go pray with God, he listens. He listens to us. But then there's a time when we got to listen to God, And there are times where our kids need to listen to us, but I think you're right. I think it becomes more times where we're telling them what to do all the time, and they're just really, you know what, I'm just going to sit here until you're ready to talk, or until you're ready to listen to me.
Yeah.
And I think that was a revelation from God, that I need to start listening to my son and say, tell me what's on your mind. What are you thinking? Why are you doing those things? Yes, they feel good, but are they good for you? But tell me why you were doing those things. Is it peer pressure? Is it just kind of trying a new thing, if you will? But and that's something I'm learning. Being a dad, kind of, forgive my French, sucks sometimes, But it's also
Was that French?
Yeah, I think so. It may be Greek or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
but it's also a blessing to see our kids grow.
Yeah.
I saw a video from like 3 or 4 years ago of my son. He and I were sparring, and his voice was so little. It's like Mighty Mouse. And I listen to him now. He's like, Dad,
Yeah.
can we go to the store? It's like, where'd this grown man come from? You know what I mean?
You haven't seen it yet.
I know that's right. And even with my daughter, it's such a blessing as well to see her grow.
Yeah.
You go back and look at old pictures, you're like, because in the moment you don't really see the change until after it happened.
Right.
Does that make sense? I've heard Dixie say before, when you plant a tree, you don't look at the tree and watch it grow. You plant it, go do your life, go back, and the tree's growing. You're like, wow,
Yeah.
I just planted that 6 weeks ago, and it's already 6 foot tall.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So, yeah. So, I think at this moment, I think it's a good break time. So we're going to take a quick little break here, and we'll be right back. All right, we're back. Steven, are you ready to play this game with me? It's called Quick Fire, or Rapid Fire, and we're going to do some questions. You think you can do that?
I'm gonna do my very best.
You're speaking to the mic. Let's see.
I am.
Oh, I did the wrong one. Hold on.
Oh, yeah.
There it is. Say something again.
Technical difficulties.
Technical difficulties. You know, that's the cool thing about technology. It doesn't really matter. You know, who cares?
Yeah.
You know, it's just we're here to have fun and all that good jazz.
Yes.
You like jazz?
I actually grew up listening to jazz at some point. Yeah, I love jazz. I love the combos, the 3-piece combos, the 4-piece.
Yeah. I think about I'm real big into like saxophone. I think saxophones are like beautiful sounding. But also just when they play the drums, just the light percussion there, it's amazing. I think that it has a beautiful. It also can be depressing.
Yep.
But it's also I just like the sound of it. Like on a rainy day, just sitting there listening to a saxophone, and you feel like you're in a movie or something. You know, I don't know if that's just me or not, but yeah.
No, it's cool. I was listening to a saxophone player the other day on. Well, I'm not gonna say it, but I was watching him, and it's the gee, I'd like to do that thing with me.
Yeah.
Man, I'd love to be able to do that, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. But the truth is, that takes skill and it takes devotion, you know?
All right. So we're going to go into this next segment here. It's called Rapid Fire Questions. So, Stephen, you don't have a lot of time to think about the answers. So it's just like, I'll give you at least 5 seconds before I ask you another question. So this is just kind of fun. This is just to kind of get to know who you are. The next episode, you can ask me questions. Or we could even do the same ones. We can do it after you ask me, or after I ask you, you can ask me. How about that? You cool with that?
I'm going to have to be.
Okay, so I have the paper in front of me, so I'll ask the questions first, and then you can ask the next question. How about that? Are you cool with that? Think you can do it? He didn't look. Well,
you have a piece of paper with the with the questions. I have to do this off the cuff.
No. You can ask the same questions.
No, I don't want to.
You don't want to ask the same questions?
Let's see how far I get.
All right, let's see. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna put your hands together for Stephen Dow. He's gonna be doing some quick fire. If he doesn't get it right, we're gonna.
You didn't say there was right and wrong.
That's true. All right, Steven J. Dow, are you ready?
I am.
All right. For the first question, what was your first job?
Mowing grass.
Mowing grass. How old were you?
About 12.
12 years old. Who do you text the most?
My girlfriend.
Your girlfriend. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, you don't have to say no names. Just say your girlfriend. Who is your hero?
Superman.
Superman. Can you tell me why superhero is your hero?
Because he's got a big S on his chest and it says Stephen J. Dow.
Oh.
No, because everything in his personality reminds me of Jesus.
That deserves a clap right there, buddy. Yeah, look at you. Yeah. All right. All right, next question. What is your go-to pastime? Like, where do you go? The pastime.
To pass time, I go to church.
Yeah?
Yeah, church is me. I mean, yeah.
That's good. Okay. Well, I'm going to comment on that in a minute. Okay. All right. Describe your style in one word.
Off the cuff.
Off the cuff.
Oh, one word.
Off cuff.
No, my style. Free.
Free. Oh, I like that one. That's a good one. All right. One subject you would like to learn more about.
God.
That's a good one. What dish do you cook best?
Macaroni and tomato sauce.
Really?
My favorite meal.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we grew up on that. Yeah, takes me home.
Yeah. Have you ever ate a mayonnaise sandwich before? Mayonnaise.
Yes. Yes. Have you ever had a mayonnaise peanut butter sandwich?
No.
Try it.
Oh my gosh. I've had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich with pickles on it and cheese puffs.
Okay, your wife was pregnant and you did that.
No, this is before I met my wife. All right. Next question. What never fails to make you laugh?
People.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You want to elaborate on that for a second?
Yes, because people do the craziest things, and some of them do it with style. I love people with style.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Would you ever try stand-up comedy?
I have.
You have?
Every day.
Interacting
with people, yes. Yes.
Yeah. How do people tend to react to your comedy?
They don't like it sometimes.
Yeah. You think it's kind of a mixed balance?
Yes.
Yeah. I think a lot of people don't understand. We won't get into that. Okay, let's move forward. All right. If you were to write a book, what would it be about?
People.
People?
Yeah.
Would it be about your life or just people in general, how they carry themselves?
Well, the only people I know have been in my life, but people.
Would you use their real names?
No.
No? Okay. All right.
No, I'm like Dragnet. The names have been changed to protect the people.
Okay. Yes. Okay. All right. What are you most looking forward to in 2024? Something to look for. This is a bonus question.
Okay, the place where I'm working is expanding, and I'm looking forward to the changes.
Yes.
And the changes. There's a fear of being lost in the crowd, but there's also a gain in being lost in the crowd. You get to stand back and watch and see and learn and watch and see because
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll elaborate on that in another episode because I think that's really good. Because you are right. There's a lot of changes that's going on with where we work. And so it's actually good changes.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's expanding. When you expand, it means there's growth. There's that word we talked about earlier, growth.
Yep.
So, all right. How do you think that you did on your questions?
Is that one of the questions?
Yeah. How do you think you did on your question? We're going to give you a round of applause because I think you did a great job.
I think I did good.
Yeah, I think you did too. Because if not, we would just, we just laugh at you.
Okay.
I'm just playing.
That's all right. I want to be a comedian.
We like to have fun around here. Because if you can't have fun, then, what's the point?
Yeah.
You think God intended us to enjoy life or just be serious all the time?
I think that even God has a sense of humor.
Absolutely. Let me ask you this. Do you think that, I just thought of this, did Adam and Eve laughed in the garden?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what it talks about how they walked with the presence of God in the garden?
Yeah.
I think sometimes we don't understand that comprehension of what does that even look like.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, because when they got kicked out, it's like God became distant from that point forward. So, all right. So I have a quote for the day. I want to look at it here.
Uh-oh.
I got another quote by Oswald Chambers. It says, "Worry is an indication that we think God cannot look after us." What do you think about that when you read that, Stephen Dow?
I think that that's truth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any doubt, shame, or remorse that we have in our head separates us from God for a moment. Just a moment, not forever, but for a moment until we remember who we are.
I want to look at that real quick. So worry is an indication that we think God cannot look after us. And I think that applies to to every aspect of our lives. It's like you said, but it's like we take a step back for a moment and say, is God really working in the situation?
Yeah.
Even the situations that we caused in our lives.
Yeah.
Because we tend to do that a lot, don't we? We tend to create our own problems and then ask God to fix them.
What do you think about that?
I mean, what I'm saying now is, when worry is an indication that, it's like you either trust God or you don't.
There you go.
There's no in between.
Yeah, there you go.
It's just one or the other. There's no, it's black and white. There's no gray area. And I think that's where a lot of people try to be is gray area because they don't know what to pick.
Right.
You either pick one or the other.
Right.
You're going to either be for God or against God. So,
Yeah.
But I saw that quote last night and I wanted to use it today. I thought it was really good because, we tend to worry as believers and even as people because I think a lot of the time it's just because something's happening in our lives in that moment.
What do you think it's worry that makes us want to go out and try to fix it?
Yes.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then by them, we're now being what we call, a co-creator?
Little G.
Yeah.
We try to become our own God, we're going to try to do it our way.
Do you think that's fair to God?
No.
Do you think that as his child, he may be seeing if we're capable of doing things on our own?
I think he allows us to do those things momentarily until we cry out to him and say, God, I done messed up now.
I made it worse.
Yes. Can you fix this? I mean, it's been like 70 days now, and so.
Yeah.
But you're absolutely.
The rain's still coming.
Oh,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
I used to say, well, it's like, why does it always have to rain all the time? But, the thing is when you're going through a storm, you get ready to come out of one. And when you come out of one, you get ready to go through another one because, life's difficult sometimes. But as believers, we have God to overcome our daily struggles.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So I asked my nephew one time, I said, what makes a good day? And he was like, I don't know. He was probably like 8 years old, 9 years old at that time, and he's 16 now or 17 now. And I asked him that, because he's every day I'd ask him, how's your day? Oh, it's been a bad day. My homework was hard, school was hard. I said, well, what would make it a good day? And he didn't really have an answer for me. But I said, well, you're alive, aren't you?
Yeah.
You have air in your lungs. Yeah, you may have spilled a drink on the floor, or you stepped in gum, or you got a flat tire. But does that really make a bad day? You know what I'm saying?
Or are you asking
Yeah,
me?
I'm asking you. Yeah.
No, a flat tire does not make a bad day.
What do you think makes a bad day?
Not being able to release the issue of is it good or bad. If it's a flat tire, change it. If it's a struggle you have at the bank, fix it.
Because to every action, there's a what?
A reaction.
A reaction.
Yes.
So.
And as quick as I can let go of the sorrow part of it, I move right back into pleasure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, Stephen, I've had a good time doing this second episode, but we're going to wrap this up. So we love you guys. I'm going to give you guys a round of applause one more time. Thank you, everybody, for being with us today. I am your co-host, Levi Blue. My co-host over here is Steven J. Dow. Stephen, say goodbye to the people. How about that?
Goodbye to the people. How about that?